How do you know if you're successful or not other than your own definition? You look at relativity. People in the same industry, people in the same age group, people in the same kind of arena as you. Where do you rate in that relative reference point? Like if you're in the lower quartile, you're going to have to put in some work to get to the higher quartiles. If you're up top, you're going to have to put in some work to stay there or move higher in order to be successful. You have standards that you have to abide by for yourself in order to do things when you don't want to do them in order to succeed. And so against those standards, the standards you set for yourself will determine the level of competitiveness you have, because there's always somebody at the top that they're there because their standards are higher than yours. See, I look at other people that I'm relatively comparing myself to, and I assess, what are they doing? What are their standards? What do they hold themselves to? And my standards the same as theirs? Is it less? Can I raise my standard above theirs? And then understand, what am I willing to do? Is this person really better than me? Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win, affectionately called Prolific Ninja or the Ninja by my family and friends, and because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Feeling fantastic today. We are getting a ton of stuff done. I'm on hour 49 of a 72-hour fast. I do it the last Sunday through Wednesday of every month. And so I'm feeling really light, a little tired, but really light-minded, light-bodied. I feel like I'm a real ninja at this point. So glad to be back in the studio. Before we get into the topic, I want to start the episode as I start my day. If you're new to the show, if you're listening for a while, you know that when I wake up in the morning, before I open my eyes, or after I open my eyes, actually, I thank God and the universe. That's the first thing I do, for another opportunity, another day to be great, another day to hopefully inspire somebody to live their fullest controllable potential, which is our mission statement here. The mission of this podcast is to inspire billions of lives across the planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. And so with that, I want to thank you all for listening, following, subscribing, liking. Gosh, I just checked the other day. I mean, I think we're over 20,000 followers on Facebook, and something like we just hit over 6,000 on Instagram. And you know, the audience keeps growing and growing and growing. So I want to thank you all for that. Secondly, if you're new to the show, if you don't know, if you're new to the show, we do this show on my own dime, on my own time. Okay, so spend a lot of money putting all this content together for you all, as just a gift of knowledge and information. And so, you know, there's a whole production team. We work on this on a weekly basis. Haven't missed a show in almost 2.5 years. And so with that, the only way we grow the show is if you share the show. And I like to say, if you got any type of entertainment value, knowledge, inspiration, you know, some subject matter, expertise, or anything, just learned anything, or if you feel like somebody else could learn something from this show or any of the past episodes, please do share the show. I like to say, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That being said, last thing I'll say before we get into the topic today is that, you know, even though it is on my own dime, you can support the projects that I'm working on, namely the law firm, West Loop Law. Go look at it. CuraConnector.com is a healthcare IT website. You can look at Legacy X Token, which is the crypto that we're working on in the legal arena. And most importantly, in the law firm, we are working on a campaign to raise cancer awareness around PFAS, PFAS, the forever chemical. It's been causing cancer all around us. 99% of us have it in our blood. It's found in our water, and it's been linked to cancer. So if you know anybody at all that has been affected by cancer, whether it's a family member, a friend, yourself, go to PFAS Lawyer on X or PFASinjuryattorney.com. Please leave your name, information. We'll reach out to you. We want to help as many cancer families or families affected by cancer or individuals affected by cancer as possible. We want to help as many as possible. Now, to the topic. You know, I've been around quite a few people that are very successful. You all know that. through my car group, through my, my vocation as an attorney, as an entrepreneur, through sports and athletics, through my son, now looking at potential college offers and going to that next level. The one main area of takeaway is that all of these people are competitive. Okay. Now you have this phrase, the only competition is me. Yes, that's true. The competition is you and what you're willing to do to get to your goals. But you ask anybody that's been successful, they will say the competition is themselves, but they have a reference point, which is other people, other more successful people, or other people that they're kind of in the same lane, but you're just constantly checking, where am I relative to whoever that reference point is. It's not competition, so to speak, but it is a reference point of where you are. Like the theory of relativity, everything's relative to something else. So how do you know if you're successful or not other than your own definition? You look at relativity. People in the same industry, people in the same age group, people in the same kind of arena as you. Where do you rate in that relative reference point? Like if you're in the lower quartile, you're going to have to put in some work to get to the higher quartiles. If you're up top, you're going to have to put in some work to stay there or move higher. Okay? So everything at this point for success is a competitive scenario. There's a competitive nature to all of this. And I'm sorry for those of you who aren't competitive. That's probably why you're not successful. That's probably not why you're not growing as fast or as how you want your life to look, because you don't have that competitiveness. Okay, so how do I use that competitive arena or that competitive perspective in my life? Okay, it goes back to also with standards. You have standards set for yourself that you know you must hit in order to be successful. You have standards that you have to abide by for yourself in order to do things when you don't want to do them in order to succeed. And so against those standards, the standards you set for yourself will determine the level of competitiveness you have, because there's always somebody at the top that they're there because their standards are higher than yours. Okay? Hold up tight. It's loud in there, so I can't. It's super loud in there, so I keep thinking you're talking to me. Yeah. Tell me when to start. Okay. Those standards at the highest level, there's a reason why people are at the top. I go to an athletic analogy, Kobe Bryant. Everybody would talk about how high his standards were. Guys were coming back from the club at 2 a.m, and he was in the weight room at the hotel working out, right? Guys would be sleeping in, taking the elevator down to go eat breakfast, and he would have already gotten a second workout. He was who he was because he set the standard for himself. Top of the game for so many years in professional basketball. Okay, so the standards you set for yourself are going to dictate where you are in that relative competitive reference point. Okay, and that's why they say you're competing, it's me versus me, because it's you versus your own standards, but they leave out the standards that you set compared to other people's standards. Okay, and so when I feel like when I feel like I don't want to do something, right? I look at my own standards. Am I letting myself down? And B, because it's a relative competitive reference to somebody else that in my mind, I'm comparing myself to, I always ask myself, is that person really better than me? Are they really willing to do more than me? Are they willing to get into the dirt and the grime and the grind worse than I am? And then when I ask myself those questions, I get to myself to say, no, they're not. They're not better than me. They won't do more than me. They won't outwork me. They won't do all these things. Realigning my standards in order to get over the hump and get it done. Okay? Standards are not fixed. Standards are movable. You can lower your standard and just be less than average, let's say. Or you can raise your standards to match those that are elite. Or maybe you want to raise it even higher from what they are. See, I look at other people that I'm relatively comparing myself to, and I assess, what are they doing? What are their standards? What do they hold themselves to? Okay? And my standards the same as theirs? Is it less? Is it can I raise my standard above theirs? And then understand, what am I willing to do? Is this person really better than me? Right? Removing all the luck, removing all the, things that are out of control. Within the scope of the things we can control. Is this person really better than me? Are they willing to dig deeper than me? Are they willing to do more than what I'm willing to do? To me, when I set myself in that frame of mind, the answer is uniformly no. I got it. I can't let somebody be better than me. I can't let somebody outwork me. I can't let somebody do more than I'm willing to do. And that's how you win. Really. That is really how you win. You set your standard higher than everyone else. And when you feel like you don't want to do something, you ask yourself, are these other people I'm competing with really that much better? And the real winners know the answer is no, because you have to be willing. Success requires you to have to be willing to do what others won't do. Success requires that you have to be willing to dig deeper than others will. And success requires that you believe that no one else is better than you. And those are the standards that the great ones set. I see it in my circle. I see it in a lot of different circles. Those guys at the top have a certain different kind of standard. And so my job is to try to match mine or match their standard or exceed it and perform to that level consistently. Okay? So it is you versus you, yes. You versus you and your own standards. But then don't forget, your standards have to compare with those at the top and their standards. Can you hit them? Are you willing to do what it takes to hit those standards at the top? Because that's where that success, that's where that sweetness is at the top. Okay? So, are you willing to let someone be better than you? It's okay if it is. It's okay. But real winners know you got to believe you're the best. Are you willing to let somebody do more than you? It's okay if you are, but know that that person will always be better than you. Success requires you to be willing to do more than everyone else. Are you willing to dig deepest to get to your dreams? And if not, that's okay. But if you want to be at the top, you got to dig deeper than everyone else and their standards. So there you have it, a real short cosmos of what it takes to be successful. Meet your standard, raise your standard to the highest in whatever arena you're at, and then compete at that level. So glad to bring you another episode of the End-to-End Podcast. Hope this one made sense. Again, 49 hours into a 72-hour water fast. Very, very light-minded, very, very light-bodied, but at the same time, the connection from mind to the mouth, got to make sure it's there. So live to your standard, raise that standard, compete with yourself, but understand your standards are competing with other people at the top. Great to be back with you. Looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon. I'm going to close the show as I close my day. When I put my head on the pillow, close my eyes before I do. Thank God in the universe for another day to hopefully have been inspirational. Hopefully I'd have affected some people's lives and hopefully help people be inspired to live to their fullest controllable potential. With that, I want to thank you all for listening. As I said at the start of the show, if your knowledge swell, share the show. That's how we grow. If you know anybody with cancer, any kind of cancer, please direct them to PFAS lawyer on X or PFASinjuryattorney.com on the website. Leave their information, DM, whatever. We will reach out to them. We can really, really find them solutions to help them in their journey with cancer or how it's affected their lives, whether they're living with cancer in remission or somebody in their lives have passed away. We can find solutions for them. Please do check it out to support the show. Be great today, but be even more grateful. And I will talk to you very, very soon next week.